Wait, what were you talking about? Softcore porn? What?
No. It's monster softcore porn.
Monster softcore porn.
Interstitial.
That's what the algorithm is claiming.
That is what the algorithm is claiming that Jen reads, and it's truly just Agatha Christie and
I know plenty of people who read that, but
you know what? I mean, good on them. Rock it out. It just I don't know. Maybe they're expanding their membership. They're like, hey, here's a woman in her 40s.
Yeah.
She must not be happy. So here you need interspecies softcore porn.
I remember getting into a debate,
but at least they're consenting adults.
We were trying to figure out like the evolution of it and like where it aligned with furries, because I think it's pretty well furry aligned.
I think it's furry aligned, but I think it is a separate group.
Oh, it is for sure. We were trying to like taxonomically divide kinks one time. Where does that fall?
It's not going to be a column system. It's not even going to be a pie chart for kinks. It's going to be a spattergram.
A splattergram. Oh my. Anyway, hello everybody.
Hello. Welcome to another lovely evening of What the Fauna, where we drunkenly talk about animals.
Yes.
Not intentionally drunk, but it just seems to happen as it goes.
It seems to happen, except I'm out of booze, so I'm sober. Now she's drunk. This is backwards. Cats and dogs from the air fighting or making love. I don't know.
Together, cats and dogs living together. Total anarchy.
Anarchy.
Know your Bill Murray.
Right. Anyway, yeah. So
actually, I found out last time my parents were listening in.
On
our live show. Yeah, they really enjoyed it. They even chuckled a couple times, they told me. And for people who are out there going, you let your parents hear you say the word dickhole? Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yep.
Really, this is an educational show.
They know who I am.
Right? Like my parents,
they raised me.
Right? They know it. Granted, they would not use those words, but Hey.
It's a different different thing. Anyway, so yeah, we're at What the Fauna. This is Genevieve.
Hello. And this is Whitney.
Hello. And
it's cool when I say it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about animals, and we are vulgar, so to get the children out of the room.
Animals too.
What was that?
You said animinimals, and I said animaximals too.
Animaximals instead of animinimals, yes. I mean,
if you're a
you got to min-max it. I mean, I'm a gamer. You got to min-max at least a little bit.
if you're a fusa, you're maxing.
I mean, they got the butt pouch? Is that the one? With
they do. They have a butt pouch.
That's right. Yeah, we talked about that in the Fusa episode.
If you've not listened to the Fusa, go and listen to the Fusa. Have you ever wanted to knock your own teeth?
I don't know if I put that one up yet. It'll be up eventually.
It will be, and it will be glorious when you listen to it. You'll be like,
I don't have memorized which ones we put out.
Yes, in many, many ways. So, yes.
Much like my college dating life, I don't remember everything that I put out.
Hopefully nothing coming out of you is colorful now.
Right. Oh, okay. Yes.
Or wait. Yeah. No, I went there and I meant it that way. Like green or gooey.
Gooey.
Not green is okay.
So I gave it a little hint in my little thing on the Facebook because I was like, I didn't put it out swift enough because we're going to talk about an animal that I chose simply because I have a moment of one of the cutest, most glorious visions stuck in my memory of these little animals because they're swift foxes. What we're talking about. We might also, by the way, we go on so many tangents, so it doesn't matter. We'll be on the animals
called the Vulpes Volox.
Vulpes Volox, and there's a native name.
Just one of the most awesome, like taxonomical names. I mean,
yes,
Vulpes Volox sounds like some sort of evil alien species.
Yes.
No.
There's
Vulpes Volpax.
There's a bunch of native names, obviously, because they span a pretty wide area historically. And
It's going to become as a complete shocker to our audience that, hey, guess what? They don't have as big of a territory anymore because humans are
Humans suck. Yes.
Yeah.
So, which the only reason I know, and because their territory has been reduced, that's why I know. But I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I'm going to just butcher the enunciation of it. It starts with
come on.
yeah,
try.
no, not even going to try.
I do that every episode, yet I try anyway.
Yeah, but that's English.
I butchered on this show Latin, Dutch, certain Arabic,
English Latin. It's not true Latin.
I've even butchered some Africanese. Okay, so don't be all hoy and mighty.
Nope, that's your job, not mine.
Well, thank you. Pronounce Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
FYI.
So the reason I've heard the native name at least a few times is because there's a lot of tribal groups that are, or organizations that are trying to reintroduce them on tribal lands and in tribal areas, because that obviously with reintroduction programs, they want the land to be they're trying to get it back to a balanced nature as best they can.
And I read a couple things that saying this is kind of, the swift fox could be considered an indicator species.
Yes.
So if you have them around, you're achieving a good balance. If you are not quite there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But wait, is the native name worse or easier or harder than Huma Huma Nuka Nuka Apua?
It just has some like guttural sounds that we don't. I
just
use
wanted
in
to
English.
Be fancy and show that I could say that. I could.
Okay, I'm like, no,
Nuka Nuka
there was just some like weird little guttural sounds that we don't use in English. That was just like, I can't do that. I can't even roll my tongue for Spanish, so that is not happening. Okay, it takes way too much concentration. I can't use it in the actual word.
One of these days, we will do the raccoon.
Raccoon. Yes,
you did well.
I did it. I did it.
Yay!
So yeah. Anyway, the swift fox, for those that don't know, it is one of the smallest canids in North America. It's one of the smallest canids in the world. I think the kit fox is slightly smaller. Well, I see. That's the thing. I'm not sure if the kit fox or the swift fox is smaller. They're both pretty much the same size.
Think of a house cat.
Yeah, basically it's the size of a house cat.
Not a particularly fat house cat, not a particularly skinny house cat.
Think of a fox.
Average size house cat.
Think of the fox, and you're thinking of the red fox, the Vulpes vulpes, not the Vulpes velox, which is what we're talking about. The red fox is bigger,
very well, by the way,
and red and black, but we want these guys are more like tannish with the black tips on the end, and
they
just
got
very much
black.
They've
small. Got noticeable black near their muzzle.
Right. Yep.
That's something that's kind of an indicator of the swift fox. They got kind of big ears. They're usually only about 12 inches in height, about 30 inches in length. Not particularly heavy. They're a lightweight fox.
No.
And
I'm agreeing with you. Yep.
I thought you were like, no. I'm like, yes, they are lightweight.
Yeah, no, they're very lightweight. I'm like, yep. No, nope, they are not big. Yep.
Nope, they've got bigger ears because they hunt a lot. They're nocturnal, as they are nocturnal. Most foxes. If you see a fox out in the day, usually it's just kind of sunning itself. It's
actually, most foxes are more crepuscular.
Oh, that's true.
These guys are pretty much strictly nocturnal. Well, and foxes actually kind of adjust because red foxes have such a huge range because they're in North America, they're in Europe, they're in Asia. Like they've taken over a huge swath of land, huge tracts of land. Part of that, though, is colonization. Part of it is due to land bridge stuff happening during ice ages and things of that nature, and just being very successful. But the swift fox, they've been pretty successful. They are true foxes, or earlier, right before we started, you were talking about 22 species of fox. Honestly, I would say if you say between 20 and 25, I'm going to be like, sure.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those things where there's a few like questions among the experts about whether this certain things are subspecies versus species or
We're
whatnot.
not asking whether they're foxes. We're asking if they're subspecies or not subspecies.
Right. Now, there are two, when we're talking about foxes, there are two groupings of foxes. Only about a dozen of them are true foxes. So those are the vulpists. And then the other ones are what we call gray foxes, which is actually a different genus. Oh, shoot, I had it and now I forgot it. So I'm going to have to look it up. Yeah, it's a different genus. It's like
try. Give it the gold.
It's the Eurocyon. Eurocyon. That's what it is. And then there's like a bunch of subgroups in them. They're both canids. They are pretty similar, but they did start separating quite a while ago. But they are canids. Contrary, occasionally I run into people that think like foxes are like a weird hybrid of cat and dog. I'm like, no, they're just like a canid. They're more like dogs.
They can't retract the claws.
No, they can't retract claws or anything like that. They have different. They have basically canid physiology, which is the dog-like, wolf-like, coyote-like stuff. Which I did look into see when they split. It seems to be about.
They're not musculids. They're nothing like that.
Yeah, they are full canids. They are omnivorous, so they eat pretty much everything. They'll eat berries. They eat whatever they find.
They actually will eat grass when
yes, they'll eat. Actually,
really tight.
That always drives me insane when people are like, "Oh, I want an all meat diet for my dog." Because for those that don't know, I do dog training and dog behavior stuff, and I am not a nutritionist, but I do know
dogs have been with humans for about 16,000 years.
Yeah, and the thing is, even wolves eat grass. Like, I hate it when people go for a grain-free diet because I'm like, in the wild, they still eat grains. Like, that's part of the diet. Like,
or the person who's like, oh, they're eating grass, they're trying to make themselves vomit.
Yes, like they must have that's a different scenario. Well, actually, that kind of is. They might be on the right track there. So there is a medicinal effect to some grasses with dogs, which alleviates stomach pain. So
by
it's not so much
or just by
eating the grass. So the reason they're vomiting is because something's making their stomach upset. The reason they're eating the grass is because it's a natural belly thing. So they just kind of like, I just want to eat this, and it makes me feel better. So it doesn't cause them to vomit. They were going to vomit anyway, but they are eating the grass as a sign that, hey, their stomach's not feeling good. So
I don't know. I've got larger dogs, and usually I can hear it.
Oh yeah.
If their tummies are not okay, it's like.
Well, the thing is, you'll hear it, but that's much later. Sometimes they'll be eating grass up to an hour before they actually hit the point where they're like, whoa. So usually I see that, I'm like, it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming.
But yeah, so that's a correlation and causation issue that people see. It's like the statement of only sick people are at the hospital, or people get sick because they go to the hospital. No, they go to the hospital because they are sick.
I mean, they get sicker at the hospital. No. They went with the initial signs, and it did get worse because they were getting.
That's the progression of a disease. Yeah, but so they are omnivorous. Now these guys, since they're so small, they're also insectivorous, which I guess some dogs are too, but that's not a primary. These guys are primary.
Opportunistic.
Oh yeah, which this is what I'm going to describe this scene to people, because you got to think of this like cat-sized little fox dog thing, and they are super fucking playful, which is also
so cute too. They've got the big ears, and they've their eyes are a little bit wider set than some caninids. So it just overall makes for a dopey, adorable animal.
So these guys have a similar niche and habitat as, like, we talked in another episode about the black-footed ferret. and the black-footed ferrets in like the prairie lands. And actually, it was funny because I was listening to, or was reading and listening, because I tend to have the text to speech thing for me. Helps with my adaheta. Adaheta. So anyway, they have the same overlapping territories as, or
Similar
territories, habitat as black-footed ferrets. So basically this short grass, mixed grass prairie.
Everybody likes to eat a prairie dog.
Right, and they eat prairie dogs, and they use prairie dog homes. So many things. Prairie dogs are such an important aspect, so it sucks that when people are trying to eradicate them completely, because burrowing owls, swift foxes, kit foxes,
Black-footed
ferret, badger holes also. But basically, these guys don't take the hole from the badger. They just go, oh, look, there's a hole that one abandoned, or maybe a badger died years ago.
I mean, these guys are totally capable of digging their own holes. Right. But I mean, if you're talking about an apocalyptic scenario, are you going to build your own house or just move the bodies out of that one?
And honestly, these other animals are still better at it. They're much, and they make more complete tunnels. So basically, these guys they don't really dig.
You can set up a tent, or you can live in the brick structure over there.
But in general, they don't. Yeah, they're not made for it, though. That's the thing. Like, it would take way too much effort for them to dig those tunnels.
And so we talked about them being small and cat size.
Yeah. I didn't describe the scene that I mean.
Okay, well, can I do
my? They're out in the prairie, which I was out on a research study for black-footed ferrets, which is why I was out there in these guys' territory, and we're out, and we have a full moon. We can see the whole prairie. It's gorgeous. And then there's this little swift fox just having a day, because there's a couple moths just fluttering around, and he's just like wee wee wee, just like hopping and playing and trying to catch them. But it's like not a like predatory chase. It's full on just play. And I've watched this little cute bastard for like 30 minutes, just going, oh, now this is a good break. It's one of my favorite memories that will always be in my head, is with these little swift foxes. And then it eventually noticed that we were watching it. And the thing is, actually, that's one of the reasons why they have problems. They're not as fearful as other animals are.
They're curious.
Yeah, they kind of get curious. Now, they don't want you coming up to them. They'll run into their hole. But in general, they're like, if you're not going to get me, then I'm just going to continue frolicking.
They don't understand the range of a rifle.
And that too. Yep. They're not very fearful of humans. And then
but they're fearful of other things.
Yeah, they are pretty fast, so they can get there. Like, I saw some that claim they may go 60 miles an hour. That's wrong. No, I'll say 30 miles an hour, give or take.
I'll go 30 to 40.
Yeah, 30 to 40.
I read the most wonderfully horrible statement while studying for this, while reading up for these guys.
Yeah.
It said that the swift fox are so fast because they are bilaterally symmetrical. And I thought to myself, what the fuck? But here's the problem. Here's the problem with what I read, is I read it in 3 different sources. So one source was using these other sources as a source material.
Right. So yeah, for those that don't know, bilateral symmetry means the left side is equal to the right side. Yes. Almost everything, every vertebrate is a bilateral symmetry.
The other symmetry is a radial symmetry. So
right.
Think of an octopus, a starfish, something that you can split down multiple axes and still have a mirror image of.
And then there's also some things that don't even follow any of that.
So here I am going, oh, they're bilaterally symmetrical, so that's why they're so fast. Thinking that this compares to other foxes, then stopping and thinking to myself, what the fuck are other foxes? I thought somebody was making some weird physiological, motor skill, like other animals move in, I don't know, some less bisymmetrical way, and that the swift fox moved in such a way that it was extra bisymmetrical and therefore extra fast.
Yeah, I don't.
So think about everything you read. while not wrong, a swift fox, I believe, is probably much faster than a starfish. It has absolutely very, very little to do with the situation.
Yeah. So when you say this always reminds me of a XKCD comic. For anybody who hasn't read those, I highly recommend XKCD. It's little stick figure comics that are very nerdy generally. But one of them was
like nerdy on this channel.
One of them was the Wikipedia problem, and basically Wikipedia. Somebody took a Wikipedia thing, and they found one article that had an incorrect piece of information, and then it ended up on Wikipedia. Then somebody somehow this information ended up on Wikipedia. Then it ends up on like a reputable or quasi reputable like news channel thing, and then somebody pulls it from there, and actually what it is actually a full research loop where basically it's all referencing
people
itself.
Are verifying. Yeah, they're verifying their information based on wrong information, which
Correct.
is based on wrong information,
and it just technically what you're actually verifying is the source itself is verifying itself through that whole process. Yeah. So XKCD has a great comic kind of explaining
this is pretty much that point. While it's not wrong, it's not right either.
I
think about the words. Think whenever you're using something, think about the words because they might sound cool, but then go back and think about what it really means.
I remember we'd have to write up informational things on stuff at the zoo to give to the volunteers and everybody else, and also we'd pull that.
This would be something great that you would write, and people would be like, "Oh, they're biometric or bisymmetric."
And the thing is, these information sheets we would use them in house, and then because like if we're gonna like write a new page or something on the website, we'd use the in-house thing so that we don't have to go back out and research again. Mm-hmm. So those had to be accurate. I'd find stuff even from professionals where I'm like, where'd you get it? And I'd pull
somebody typoed something.
No, that's actually it's even worse because then I'd like this entire paragraph. What the fuck? So I would take 5 words out of that paragraph and put that into a Google search.
Okay.
And I would be able to find the exact article where they pulled it from and be like, why did you quote this bullshit?
So, in animals and in nature, like in everything else, do think for yourself just a little bit.
Yeah.
If someone says their penis is the same size as their body, okay, go ahead and believe that. But if they say
4 inches, it's 4.
If someone says the penis, which is bisymmetric or bilaterally symmetrical, is faster than a radially symmetrical, kind of go, what the hell does that
use critical thinking skills and verify.
Verify. So anyway, the swift fox is fast. It's a very fast fox, but that does have to do with its long legs to smaller, lighter body ratio it has than other foxes. It doesn't mean that it's bilaterally symmetrical and other foxes are not.
Yeah, and the other thing that you have
as well.
The other thing you have to consider is fast things don't tend to be in forests. You don't want to be fast in a forest, and most of these other fox species tend to be for more.
You want to be agile in a forest.
Yeah, you want to be agile and nimble. You don't need to be the fastest because it's pointless because you're never going to hit that top speed. But in grasslands and prairies, that's when you start getting these really fast animals because they have open space and they need to get to whatever their safety thing is as fast as possible. And they don't have to worry about running into shit.
Yes. they can go quick, and not look up and hit a tree.
Yes. In fact, like in the zoos, we'd have to worry about stuff like that with those
types. These guys are from the grasslands?
Yes, I did. Because I mentioned, because these guys are from the short grass and mixed grass prairies specifically, because they overlap with the Black-footed ferret, remember?
I'm just making sure that you said that because I've been drinking tonight.
Aha! See, I'm sober. Now I'm jealous.
See, I'm thinking we should change the vibe of the show a little bit. We're not completely off kiltering it, just a little bit shifted toward drunk.
More drunk?
A little bit more.
It's like, similar to, instead of drunk history, it's drunk animal facts.
There you go. Drunk history is successful.
Yeah.
Drunk animal facts. Tell us what you think. Do you think we should go for a little drunk? Not like full
I mean,
blithering singing songs drunk. I don't
I mean,
think that.
normally I'm having a few beers during the show anyway. So,
Well, I'm out of sake. It's
sad panda is sad.
sad panda.
So,
So the Swift Fox is fast.
yeah, it's fast little guy, cute little guy. It is a true fox. It's in the Volpe. One other interesting thing with these guys is they actually, unlike other canids, the female actually maintains the territory.
Which is similar to tigers, actually.
Yes.
The female maintains the and they usually mate for a year, or some people have said they mate for life. But they usually stay together for a little bit, and then the male leaves, which is
and it was
different in the canids.
Yes, it's a little different for the canids. Aside from like, well, I guess hyenas have a matriarchal. Well, they have a full matriarchal pack. These are individual.
These don't have.
These guys don't have a pack structure in any way. So they're more, but the females tend to maintain the territories. And
why are their tails black? Why are the tips of their tails black? I couldn't find that out.
A lot of the reasons that a lot of things have black tips, if it's not for camouflage reasons, the main reason that an animal will have black tipped, like black tipped wing tips, for example, is because melanin is a much stronger protein.
Okay.
So sometimes those end portions that get whipped around and things like that tend to have more melanin in them to maintain structure. So,
okay.
So, like, that's why on the wings of the tips of the wings gets the most buffeting. The tip of a tail gets the most impact.
So you want the stronger proteins there to degrade or to decrease cellular structure breakdown.
Yep. So the hairs basically last better.
Look at that. And drunk. Thank you.
Boom. Yes. So, yeah, that's a very common thing in the animal world. You'll have the outer tips of something be black. Now, this might not be
fat, drunk, and stupid wouldn't accomplish anything in this world.
Drunk and stupid. Hey, that's my motto. Actually, I generally quote Tyrion, and I'm like, I drink and I know things.
All right. Well, I'm quoting Animal House. Fat, drunk, and stupid won't get you anywhere. There is no way to live your life, son. Au contraire.
Au contraire. That's no way to live your life functionally. I can be unfunctional all I want.
Well, most of us are unfunctional to a certain degree. So the Blackfoot or the
not Blackfoot ferret, Swift Fox.
No, the Swift Fox.
Yes. So
it's actually a prey animal, and we did an episode on cats, and we talked about how cats tend to be preyed upon, like the domestic cat, by larger creatures.
If you're not biggest, you're fucking food.
Yeah, right. Like humans tend not to eat carnivores, but other carnivores don't
have no gumption about that. Meat's meat, and I'm hungry.
So the biggest predator of the Swift Fox is actually the coyote.
Yep.
And it's been observed them being killed and eaten, or just killed because they're competition. Oh, hey, Mark, we love you.
Mark's showing up.
Yay, what's up? From Mark. So so the Swift Fox could, is competition for coyotes in some of the food they eat. Right. So, if you're killing things, you can eat them or just kill them so they're not competition, which, that's kind of a human thing usually.
Yes. So yeah, it keeps going back to the Black-footed ferret too, because the territory or the habitat, not territory, is overlapped so much. When I was doing research, I thought it was funny because a lot of the research that I was reading, because most of the research that they're doing is all about population control, because we are trying to reintroduce them, because we did fuck them over. We actually almost made them go completely extinct. I want to say 30s or no, before that.
No, the 30s. The 30s.
Yeah.
Well, it depends where. So the range extends from Canada through all the way down into Texas, as far east as Iowa, as far west as Colorado. So they did actually go functionally extinct in Canada.
Which the term for that is extirpated. So if they were somewhere and then they are no longer there, that's extirpated, as long as there's still a population somewhere else. So actually, there was a Canadian tribe I don't want to say Canadian tribe because I mean they were there before Canada, but anyway, there was a tribe in the Canada up in Canada that was trying to reintroduce them, and they're taking them from other locations, and then making sure that they can
And
survive.
they're doing okay. They're doing
Yeah.
okay. They, as with most reintroduced animals, they are having problems in their first year.
Yep.
But they found that the ones that do survive their first year tend to triple their population within the next year.
Yep. And and also you mentioned coyotes. Coyotes actually they're finding do not have a significant effect on their success rate in an area. So if there's a population of coyotes, it's no big deal because honestly the concept is basically it's in balance. More or less.
You need
and coyotes don't go after them.
And
coyotes don't go after them as a primary food source. The reason most things don't eat predators isn't because of flavor or anything. It's just because other predators tend to be harder to get.
Right. These guys, we say that they will dig their own burrows or they'll take over other burrows, but they usually like to have multiple entrances to their burrows.
Yeah, they have. Yep. They're usually about, what is it, a meter to 3 meters underground, 3 to 4 feet below ground, but with multiple.
At least 4 entrances.
Yep, so that way
they can run away.
Yes.
And they are swift, dare we say
it. When I was in the zoo, when we had swift foxes, we'd have an exhibit. They also will have multiple burrows to go to. So because that way, if they get freaked out by one,
up to 14 in a year. They'll use up to 14.
And the reason for that is if one gets compromised, they go to another. And also, you want multiple exit points to get into them.
The swift fox is also in one of the indigenous languages. They're called the den fox or the burrowed fox.
It's hard to
They spend more time in their burrows and more time in their dens than most creatures.
It's funny because doing research for these guys and doing research for black-footed ferrets is very similar. You're going to be out at night. Even the reintroduction programs are kind of similar and based off of each other. They basically put these foxes in these like caged areas, and then they try to get them to hunt on their own in the caged area, and then before they let them out.
Then they open up the cage and they're like, "Be free!"
More or less. Yeah, exactly. But they basically go through a pseudo boot camp to make sure that they're okay in the new area. And when we had them in the zoo, we had multiple dens, and the problem was we wouldn't know, since they're nocturnal, we wouldn't know if they bred. Because they also are so skittish. If anything disturbs their, so they're both brave and skittish at the same time. I mean, like it just depends. The thing that they're most skittish about is their home.
I think there's some questionable. They're a little drunk at times. They're a little like, ha.
Well, the thing is, they get skittish about their home. If anything knows where their home is, because I think they feel like they can outrun most things, and then they're like, to my home. But
that's true.
Like we couldn't examine their young in the nest because, like a lot of animals, if you do that too much, they'll just eat the young. They're like, this is attracting danger. Kill the babies. So we couldn't do that. So I actually was a part of this, and I had to help develop a few camera systems at our zoo so that we could see them. So we had nighttime cameras in their exhibit with infrared lighting so that it didn't disturb the foxes. But basically, we would determine if they had babies because the female would stop coming out.
Yeah.
And then the male would be bringing her the food.
So typically what happens, because I had to read all this, you all have to learn about it too. They typically mate around November and December. And then the kits are born around 50 days after in March to mid-May.
Yeah. January to March usually.
Okay. And they usually have 4 to 5 kits. And as kind of typical, I guess, with canids, the puppies are born blind and deaf.
Yep.
And the puppies don't even open their eyes for the first couple weeks. So it is fairly normal for the female and the babies to stay in the den for a month before coming out. So, usually a good way of determining whether the females had babies is you don't see her for a month.
Exactly. And that's what we do in the zoo field. And that's why I made a camera system for our keepers where they could remote in and look at the recordings from the night before.
And like what you said, the male starts bringing in food because they do live, the males You know,
Yep.
They care for the female and they care for the young because they don't suck.
Yes.
They're pretty cool like that. They're real dads.
Yes.
Not judging or anything. I'm not throwing shade. I'm totally fucking throwing shade. It is proven fact that fathers that stick around have stronger young. Across the board.
I'm going to tease you. I got a text from Mark asking when the live show is. Now.
Now. Wait. Why does he text you and not text me?
I don't know. Mark's getting called out.
Mark has crabs.
I know he's throwing shit.
Mark likes
yes, I
knew. You know, Mark. I've invited you on the show. It's not our fault.
We will have him on the show at some point. People will meet the Mark.
I was going to try and have him on the show with the cats because, you know, many people have said that looking at his naked ass is like looking at a cat trying to crawl up it. You want to go? Let's go. I've got the mic. You just got the keyboard. Let's go here.
Let's go. Let's do that.
We don't need to do that. We love Mark.
Mark do love Mark.
Another friend from our college days who is pretty awesome. And
crabs. He wants to do crabs? Does he want to do a crab show episode or does he have crabs? I don't know what he's trying to tell us right now.
He's married now, so I doubt he has crabs. I think he's more... I believe his wife is a clean and polite woman.
Yes. Well,
not polite. Clean.
Have I ever told you my very fun fact about crabs?
Straightforward woman, I will say. Yes.
Have I told you my very fun fact about
in a good way. All good.
My fun fact about human crabs and lice?
That we have them on us constantly?
Nope. So
that they are the
normally, most species only have one form of this type of parasite. Okay? Humans have two. We have head lice and we have crabs.
Oh, that's right.
Because we have a region that's bald in between, so it does. So we basically have two.
It throws them for a loop.
The crabs that we have in our crotch region has a close relative, which means that there was an early or fairly recent offshoot.
Keep going.
Gorilla lice.
Oh.
Yeah, now you got the what possibly happened.
And we've done an episode on something similar.
Yes. Now you see what happened. That's my fun little fact. There, some point, 1,000,000-something years ago.
Not even 1,000,000-something years ago. There's a horrific story about a
Oh no, you're talking about the recent thing. That's our gorilla episode. I'm pretty sure that one is uploaded.
Yeah. That one. No, I'm talking about one even more recent than that, in which people were abusing an orangutan.
No, oh no.
For years.
Oh god,
it was a thing.
I can't do the animal. Horrific. I can't do the animal abuse stuff. Somebody was telling me.
No, and they were prostituting, and it was a big.
Yeah,
there was a big. There was a grossing item so much as it was horrible, but it was also a fairly
thing is I've learned all about those things in my zoo time, and I can't because and somebody was trying to get me to watch. There was a Netflix documentary about like apparently somebody tortured a cat and posted it on Facebook or something, and then the world was trying to hunt down this person and the amount of effort. But I couldn't watch it because I'm like, I can't.
Nope, can't watch it. Nope. There's a video of someone abusing a dog that lives rent-free in my head and has for about 5 years.
I refuse. Nope.
Yep. Pretty terrible. Anyway, so the Swift Fox.
You know what happens?
People, So anyway, actually, so what's interesting is
most people who do that right in the dick and also punch Nazis. Those are the two things you punch.
Yep. Animal abusers and Nazis.
Animal abusers, child abusers, and Nazis. Yep.
Yeah. Non-consenting adults.
Yes.
So anyway, another reason that the Swift Fox will change dens is not just because one is compromised, but because sometimes parasites build up in one.
Yep. That's a lot of animals will change dens because of that. If
And
there's,
let the parasites die down for a while. And
yep, it takes a while for them to die down though, because some of those parasites can go into a hibernation state for quite some time. Wait, now I got to figure out what he's saying. Fuck yeah about. Oh, just the punching. Yeah, punching Nazis. That's what he's talking about.
Mark, call me up. We'll write a book together. I'm excited to write a book called Punching Nazis for Fun and Profit. I haven't figured it out how you profit from it yet, but I will.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
It'll be like we collect underpants. And then we profit.
Yes. Yeah, I laughed with some of the research stuff because it was in the exact. I knew it. They named the city and town that they were in, and I was like, I know exactly which fields they were in because I was in the same ones doing black-footed ferret research, helping with studies there. So I know exactly which farms and which fields these people were driving through at night to find these swift foxes.
I mean, because there were several reasons that they were on the brink of extinction. One, the poisoning of the prairie dogs and the destruction of their food source, and poisoning them by, kind of by that whole food chain thing.
Yes,
over hunting, and so there's a lot of things that rely on the bottom of the food chain for food. That actually, what was surprising to me was one of the problems with their habitat was the destruction of bison.
Yes.
Bison eat grass and keep it pretty low to the ground.
Yep.
And when you destroy all the bisons, the grass gets pretty high and the foxes are not tall enough to see their prey and actually go after it.
Well, that's not just the only thing.
Continue.
If the grass gets too tall, guess what else can't eat it?
The grass?
Think of a little guy.
The prairie dog can't eat tall grass?
Correct.
Can't it bite it off from the bottom and
nope.
spaghetti
it needs to eat it from the top, the way that their mouth is made. So they coexist with the cattle. The problem is the grass that's growing is softer and more tender and better nutritious.
At the
tip, it's where the nutritious part is. So if the cattle doesn't eat it down, then the prairie dog actually can't. We actually saw that trend whenever they moved the cattle, or if the cattle weren't in an area, the prairie dogs would actually shift their entire colony to where they were because they couldn't do that. So we would know there's not going to be any black-footed ferrets in a field. Would we check it? Yes, because
you go, wow, this grass is really tall. There's no prairie dogs, so there'll be no ferret.
Exactly. We'd just be like, okay, and then we wouldn't see any recent signs of prairie dogs, aka scat, near the dens. It'd be old, and
I think a lot of being an animal researcher is looking for shit.
It is. So I talk about this all the time. Like somebody here in Garden City, Kansas, they started a thing at one point. They don't live here now, called Nerd Talk, and basically they based it off of TED Talk, but it was just whatever you're passionate and nerdy about. They organized all these talks with community members.
Them. I love
that. It was fantastic. I gave I think I gave half a dozen, but one of them was
embrace your nerd.
One of them, since we were talking about the zoo stuff, I titled it "Poo, the window to health." Like your eyes are the window to the soul, except it's poo. I'm like, we look at poo all the time because we have to.
There was a House episode. House is the same as. Every episode's kind of the same, but there was an episode all about poo, where the
teachers also talk about poo. Apparently, that's what Mark said.
Teacher, what you look at the students.
Way more poop is involved. Well, he is at early childhood. There's definitely poop involved with early childhood.
There is.
Nothing like a blowout when they're not in diapers anymore.
I'm going to tell you, being a mother is an incredibly crazy and interesting thing because I have never been so happy that someone pooed in a toilet before, where I'm like, yay! Seriously, I would have lit off fireworks if I could.
The number of parents that I know of that have some story where wall painting was involved during the...
I am insanely fortunate to have had a healthy and robust child that didn't engage in such activities. I have heard of that as well, and I have been told that my son, I only have the one child, is a unusual in that respect, and is what is called a trick child. It tricks you in. They're so well behaved and
But they
so
trick you
mild.
into wanting
They
another one.
Yeah, they trick you into thinking all children are like that. And then you go ahead and have a second or third and you're fucked.
It sounds like Mark is in a shitstorm day to day. So I think he's recently traumatized is basically what he's telling us.
You know what? It all
So
washes
much
off.
poo. So much poo.
It just don't get it in your eyes, in your mouth. Don't get it in the facial region, and the rest washes off.
I will tell you, like, I can deal with animal poop. Okay, I got a story recently.
All right.
Here's one of our derailing train derailing.
Because I'm gonna go get more sake if it's a good story.
I mean, it's a kind of a good story.
You got 2 minutes.
It's a gross story. All right, she's gonna get some more sake, but yeah. So while she's going to get sake, I'll tell the story. So with all the amount of poo that I deal with the zoo, I can identify it because that's what we do. We've just dealt with so many different varieties. And the thing is, took my dogs out to the park, and we were doing long leash work. They were like having a great time. And then I got the baby puppy. She's like a year and a half now, so she's not a baby anymore, but she's out there. And then suddenly I'm just like, this is a great day. We're walking. And then suddenly she just rolls in something. Her whole body just smears. It's smeared all over her head, down her back, everywhere. It was human fucking feces. Completely covered. And I'm just like, that's the one, like, I can deal with all sorts of animal poo. Human feces. God,
is that the most vile thing in the world? I had to stop getting sake just to come back and express how
disgusting,
utterly putrid that is.
Oh,
and yes, human is the worst. The consistency is the worst.
It was like a runny, streaky poo, and she had like the 3/4 of her body were covered in it because she just did a full body.
Who would do that? Who would just poo in a field? Never mind.
It's it's where some homeless people are staying, and all the winter stuff has been shut down. So I understand why it happened. I just gross. And so yeah, I had to throw her in the tub. We're trying to teach her that taking a bath is, pleasant, but she ended up just getting the dad just slamming her into the tub, like, no, I don't touch me. She's like so I'm trying to wrestle this poo-covered puppy who's about 80 pounds, just like trying to get out of the tub, and I'm trying not to touch any of the human feces. She's absolutely covered in it.
Once again, I love my son because he's never made me wrestle him covered in feces. Not yet.
I was gonna say, your child's young enough, it still could happen. I've heard of it happen as late as age 7.
No, I think with the various role models I have, I will end up wrestling a drunk 16-year-old.
Oh, that you're going to do, for sure.
Maybe.
For sure.
Maybe, but that's also what his father is here for.
That's also, what is that phrase? It's like, it's the parent's curse. May your child be as bad as you, kind of deal.
I never made anyone grapple me in feces.
Yes.
How many of us can say that? Mark, can you say
now
that?
We'll find out that your parents are watching now as they chime into Facebook and be like, yes, but this story.
Yes, Jen, but.
Yes.
No, I know. There's a story my father would be thinking about right now, in which case it is the epitome of my stubbornness. I don't win every battle. I admit that. But I will win every fucking war there is. There's a story where my dad spent 45 minutes on the back porch wrestling me into snow pants because I was in a dress phase. Can you imagine that? I only wore dresses for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. And my father was convinced.
That was your whole life quote of it.
Yeah, I got it all out in that 4 years old, 5 years old. But I wouldn't wear snow pants because they were pants. And I didn't want to wear pants. And my dad said, it's too cold for you to go outside without snow pants. God damn it. My dad's almost as stubborn as me. He got me in the damn snow pants. But then I came home carrying them from school,
Yep.
and my dad decided, no, he's not going to do it again.
We're
That
not.
45 minutes was enough. No,
Yes.
I lost
Sometimes you
that
pick your
battle, but I
battles.
won that war.
Yes. So yeah, so the swift fox, they were almost completely extinct in a lot of areas. They're extirpated in quite a few. They're right now on IUCN listed as least concern. However, the last time they did a population check was 2016. A lot of the reintroduction programs are going well.
But they still only have 40% of the territory they used to cover.
Right. Well, that's better than Blackfoot Affair, which is like 5%, if that.
I mean, it is, but let's
yeah, it's still 40%. A couple of the other issues was rodent control, because people would poison. That's why I hate poison traps, because it's what we call a non-targeting.
I can't believe it, but I was speaking well of cyanide traps this week.
You were?
Mm-hmm.
Which kind? Because there's a few.
The one that just sprays cyanide in the face.
Okay, the camera ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty accurate. That they use those in like cats in Australia. They'll use that, so the camera will identify a cat looking into it, and then it will spray the mist into their face.
And then the cat just falls asleep.
And then it falls asleep. Those are pretty good.
It's not the thrashing around that movies
correct.
make.
But that one is a targeting one. The food poison is a non-targeting, because basically anything that eats it. And also, if the rat has it and is still moving around, then it will get eaten, and the poison will then transfer to whatever ate it.
It all goes up the food chain.
Up the food chain. So,
but from what I understand, a lot of farmers and a lot of rural people are seeing that the swift fox is actually beneficial.
Yeah, it is, because it's also pest control. They eat insects, as I said. My little butterfly in this, well, as a moth, but it was chasing a little moth in the darkness, being all cute in the prairie.
Well, hopefully with all the cicadas, actually they're not really in the Midwest. Sorry, the swift fox really haven't made it back into the Midwest, but the cicadas this year would have been a nice little bit of protein for them.
Little bunch of protein there, but yeah, I mean, they're doing generally okay. I mean, I can spot them out where I live.
Probably created some genetic bottlenecks for them, unfortunately.
Yes, we did, but they are actually. That's actually one of the things that some of the research papers they are spreading, and so some of those bottleneck areas are going to other areas to intermingle.
And you will see. So these guys will interbreed with the. Shoot, there's another fox that they overlap territories with that they will interbreed with. It is a hybrid. It's not a subspecies or anything. It's not the red fox. It's another one of the smaller foxes.
Not the kid fox. Oh, you.
All right.
But it's one that they interbreed with.
Yeah, that the swift fox will interbreed with.
Okay.
But it's not a subspecies or anything it's an occasional hybrid that happens. They've DNA tested them because there were some people who said, oh, no, that's a separate subspecies now they've created. And it's no, they're genetically diverse enough to
be
just a hybrid.
Just a hybrid. Okay. I'm curious which one it's mixing with. So I don't know that one.
I don't remember. I read like a lot of papers and stuff.
Yeah.
I thoroughly remember them being bilaterally symmetrical.
Uh-oh. Yes.
No, I'm still here.
Yeah, but the main thing I could think of is if they hybridize with kit foxes.
That might be the one.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. Okay. So they naturally hybridize when their territories overlap. And they don't have better mating.
Well done, Whitney.
Choices. So, yeah. Which, I mean, they're about the same
size.
They
don't have better mating choices? Are you shaming them?
I mean, there's always a low man on the totem pole.
Well, and I did read that in some cases a swift fox will have two females. That two females will sometimes share a territory.
Yep. Mark mentioned the gray fox. We talked about it a little bit earlier.
You're wrong. And
it can't be the gray fox. A gray fox is actually a subgroup of foxes. So there's the true foxes, and then there's the gray foxes. So gray foxes are actually a full different genus. They're not even in the same genus as true foxes. And swift
Not
foxes
that always stops creatures from hybridizing. But
doesn't
it's not
completely,
called a
but it makes it
hybrid,
less
it's called
likely.
something else. Hybrid is when two species in the same genus have a child.
Well, two
when
species,
two
period.
species of a Oh, is it? I thought
They
when
might
two
not be.
genus
They might not be in the same genus, but if they're genetically alike enough that their chromosomes can match, because I'm trying to think if donkeys and horses are in the same genus, but we'll have to look that up.
I don't know. I'll have to go back to our hybrid episode.
And then and I know zebras aren't in the same genus, and they hybridize with donkeys and horses too.
Yes,
So,
they create the zorks.
but anything that
But not
hybridizes
naturally.
automatically, it doesn't have to be in the same genus. But the further
Maybe
apart you
that's what I'm
go,
thinking.
the less likely it's going to succeed.
A donkey and a horse will naturally hybridize. A horse and a zebra will not. You have to use artificial insemination. So I think that maybe that's the term I'm looking for. There's
and
one
then there's
that's
the zedonk, which they make a lot because
which
the donkey and the zebra are closer than a horse and a.
Which I don't know why anybody would breed anything with a zebra. They're psychotic.
Yes, they are. I have not had any good experiences with zebras.
Like zebras, I mean, they look pretty. They look, oh, that's cool. But every zookeeper who's ever interacted with one that I've talked to is like, fuck those guys.
So we had a pelt because we call them biofacts. So like it'll be like the pelt or the bones of an animal. Usually it's one from the collection, so that we're not pulling.
Dude, I held on to a giraffe skull. I still remember that 30 years later, holding a giraffe skull, going,
yeah. So we had a pelt, and it had a hole in the pelt, and we a lot of the docents or volunteers would just be like, oh, they just assumed that it was like a mess up during the taxidermy process, and
no, one zebra bit a hole in the other one.
Yeah, that's why we had it, because the male killed the fucking female and like ripped her a new one, literally. That actually was a wound. That section is actually the wound that he created when he just beat the fuck out of her. So yeah, zebras are. You got to be very careful how you care for them, because you can very easily.
They're not just insane to each other. They're insane to humans. They're insane to each other too.
They're insane to everything. Yes. Yes.
Well, I mean, that is how you stay alive in the savannah with lions and tigers and Cape buffalo and leopards and everything. You just act so insane that nobody wants to fuck with you.
Oh, a lot of things just want to fuck with them, though. They are food for lots.
They are.
Anyway.
Oh my God, your dog's tail right behind you looks like a cobra at the moment.
Oh, yes. It's a Shomura's tail. And Inuyasha on the bed.
I don't know. Well, let us know. Does everyone think I should continue to do these drunk, or should I try to be sober again?
We do not promote good life choices on this show. I just would like to point that
we promote consulting adult life choices, but not necessarily good.
Yes, not good. Not good for you life choice. Yeah.
I will feel this because I am in my 40s. I will feel this for the next 2 days.
Yes. Oh, isn't that fun? Yeah.
So right while I can.
But, yeah. So swift foxes, they're cute as fuck. Do not get them as pets. Hopefully they continue on a upward.
If you have anything to do with listening to this show, do not get a non-domesticated animal as a pet. We did an entire episode. So now you can't say, I didn't know it wasn't domesticated. You now know what is domesticated and what is not domesticated.
Yes.
And what it means. So domesticated animals, you will live a better, healthier life. Yes, with them. And trust me, there are a bazillion dogs out there that would love the time and attention to spend with you. And they will genuinely love it, rather than someone who's just like, okay, this is not horrible.
As a pet behaviorist who has to go into homes and fix things, there's enough problems with the domesticated ones. You don't want to add wild animal scenarios.
Yeah, if you want to challenge yourself, get a Malinois.
Malinois?
Malinois, whatever.
That's actually the one just left, and then technically he's half Malinois.
There you go. If you want to challenge yourself and your pet owner abilities, get a Malinois. If you don't, get a bulldog. Are
you trying to like get me more business? Because that's how I get business.
No, I'm just suggesting that people are like, I'm the animal whisperer, blah, 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 blah. Don't go buy yourself a fucking emu because you want to be like cool. Go get a Malinois. Every person who knows about dogs will see you with a Malinois and go, yeah, he's fucking nuts. You know, if they say you
I don't necessarily promote what she is saying right now, but it gets me money.
I wouldn't buy one, but also I wouldn't buy a Siberian Husky because I don't want a dog that's as smart as me. Don't need it.
So that's what. Well, okay. So, and then I have my two guys, Sashorwu and Inuyasha, who are both Husky Malinois crosses because I wanted to see what it did. But that's my prerogative.
My prerogative is an English bulldog that frightens itself by farting. Do you know what? Never challenges my authority.
I get all these like weird, crazy crosses, high energy crosses.
Like thinking, if he can't see me, I can't see him.
Mary gets this pudgy couch hippo pit bull, and she's like, "This is my speed dog."
Anyone, if you don't know what to do with a puppy and it's a couch hippo, send it my way. There we go. He wants the intelligent ones. I want the couch hippos.
Yes. Oh, something happened. They're all on the move.
They heard me call them intelligent, and they're like, now we must perform.
Right. Oh, Sesh will climb right into my lap in the middle of one of these. One of these days it'll happen while doing the show. Oh, so wait. So anyway.
Well, yes. So that's the Swift Fox. We love them. We know them. They cuddle. No, they don't cuddle.
That's why I forgot to change the name of this episode. Damn it. I'll have to change it later. It's still last week's name. That's why he put the crab stuff in there.
Oh.
I forgot to change it to Swift Fox. We'll change it after.
Mark, you're right. Whitney's wrong.
Nope. I am misinformed. I'm never wrong. I'm just misinformed. See, you got to twist the word.
You were the one providing the information. You were the nexus of the information.
That's a moot point.
No, that's not. That's the exact point. Anyway, we know we love you. Mark, let us know when you want to come to an episode and basically be abused, because yeah, I think that's our relationship. Whitney's clapping already.
No, you said I had crabs.
No, I said your wife is too clean to let you have crabs.
We said you had crabs because you put the crabs in the comment thing. So I was like, oh, why did we talking about crabs? That was last week. And then I'm like, oh, and then we talked about you having crabs.
The lime in the coconut.
This is how the lime in the coconut and drink of it. That's gonna be in our head again for another week. Ah!
Oh, wait. What does the fox say?
Here, people. What?
No, they don't pay us.
No, I don't.
No. There's a song called "What Does the Fox Say?"
What does the fox say? They do have a very distinct sound, and it's like it's like I can't even do it. It's
terrifying. It's terrifying. If you're in a dark barn and you hear one of those fuckers outside, you don't know. You can't run to the house because it's outside. But you can't stay where you are. It's fucking terrifying.
See that. I will say, having knowledge of wildlife biology ruins many a horror movie. Horror moment. You're like, that's that. That's that. That's that.
If you are in doubt of that, go and listen to our episode on the American eagle.
Oh, yeah. That triggers me. That is a biologist's that triggers every biologist you ever know. Especially the bird people.
I'm here for fun and amusement of everyone. I am an equal opportunity triggerer.
No. And Mark, stop laughing. This is a serious show.
This is a serious show about serious stuff, and we didn't mention penises once. I'm sorry. Yeah. I apologize.
They have very boring genitals. Yeah, so
they're really just they're very
and nothing. I don't think anybody eats these guys to get hard on.
Not that I'm aware of. It seems to be, and people will take this wrong, but it seems to be the Native Americans, the indigenous American people, don't do that as much as people in Europe and Asia.
Yeah.
Take that for what you will. But
yeah, the whole Eurasian
complex
area
there is
yep,
really into trying different animal parts to get themselves hard, as to where the indigenous America people are a little bit more.
Oh, you know what? I know that I'm even opportunistic on that. I will, if any of my native friends are watching this and or listening to this and know.
And I'm wrong. Please let me know.
Story or medicinal thing that uses an animal to get your dick hard. Send it to Genevieve because she's keeping records.
And go ahead and send it to Whitney just in case.
No, I don't. No. I don't need that information yet.
I don't judge. Consent to adult. Remember, I don't judge.
I'm a young man. No, I'm not. All right. Well, that I think concludes this week's episode.
I think I get to choose next week, and then I think after that is a topic talk.
Topic talk, yes.
Topic talk. Where we'll talk about something. I don't know. Maybe the difference between bone and cartilage and its pros and cons.
I mean,
one's like one goes pew, and the other goes snap.
Yes. And then there's lots of differences in there. Yeah.
Yes, there is. Or I've been longing to do the different types of blood and the different colors. Did you know, everyone out there, that blood can be red, green, blue, or purple?
Yes.
Then I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, okay.
You know what I want to do? It's coming up Valentine's Day for us, at least this next week. I really want to go see Rocky Horror Picture Show on Valentine's Day.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. That's a classic.
Why wait for Halloween?
Well, we don't have a good theater that does it on a regular.
It is a love story, after all.
Right?
Several that mix and twine together.
Mm-hmm. I remember
much like Mark's pubic hair.
Last time I saw it was during COVID, and they did a Zoom
the time warp
version of it. No, they did the whole thing, and it actually had what's his butt?
Tim Curry.
Right before he passed, it had Tim Curry.
He hasn't passed.
Or I thought did he pass or did he not pass?
No, he had a stroke.
He did have a stroke. Okay, it was right after the stroke.
Okay. I would love, if anyone is out there in Radio Land, I would love to put the old crew back together. I won't name names, but there are a lot of really cool people from college who did a really awesome show.
I actually caused a marriage because of Rocky Horror Picture Show. I ended up...
Okay, so the episode's mostly over, so if you don't want to listen, go ahead and tune out, but I want to hear this story.
Oh, I mean, it's not that hard. It was basically just, it was some freshmen, and I was a sophomore, I think, at that time. Maybe a second or third year. Anyway, basically, I met up with these girls. They were very nervous about the whole thing, and then basically, I bought them. I think I bought them for a herd of sheep and Velcro gloves. For those that don't know, you buy the people who haven't seen it in theater, and I bought her and her friends, and then I invited them to the after party, and I forget their name now. It's left me. It's one of our groups of friends, and anyway,
it's unimportant.
Yeah, but he met her at that party, and if I didn't bring her in and
wait, was it the after party at my house where the hockey
team it was actually this guy's
to crash my party?
Okay. No, it wasn't at your house at that location. It was an apartment. But anyway, it started their relationship, and then they got married years later. And like, if I wouldn't have been a decent person and not scare them away that night, and took them under my wing for their first Rocky Horror, and be like, "Don't worry, I'm not going to make you do anything weird."
No, I will make you do things weird, but
I won't do it
outside your comfort
exactly.
level.
Yes, that's yeah.
We will respect.
We're going to respect the boundaries of the scenario. So,
yes,
yeah. So basically, I started a marriage because of that.
Is
anyway,
that really the second Potter one?
Now you've heard another story from our college days, which is where we met. So, I think that should cover it.
But not at Rocky Horror. But our first time really hanging out was a drag party. So.
Oh, that was a drag party. Yes, the infamous drag.
That was our first real time where I really decided, hey, this person's cool enough to learn their name.
Oh yeah, that's because yeah. Anyway, we'll save that for another day. That story's for another day.
Anyway, we love you. Live long, prosper. That's
not what you sign off on.
I told you I was drinking tonight. All right. And I will sign off on this. And take this to heart, people. This goes with punching Nazis. You have no gods and you have no masters. Nobody is better than you. Nobody is below you. Treat everybody on the same level.
No
okay?
gods, no masters. That's right. That's a saying.
No gods.